Hello everyone. I'm doing a video on 2015 through 2021 Subaru Wrx regarding the lift kits and lowering kits. So what I did was I did a 1-inch lift kit. So it's a 3/8 in the back. So see this gap. A lot of people don't like these gaps, but I like the gap. I don't really care. I don't like the lowered look. That's just me. But I know a lot of people hate it. So the back is a little bit higher. It's at 1.3/8 inch, and the front is only 1 inch. And so there's like there's definitely a gap. So so that's what it would look like. So I just want to kind of describe what happens with the lift kit. So when you do a lift kit, you have to keep in mind that the farther you go away from the factory statistics of your suspension, the farther you go away from the factory suspension, which means if you lift the car higher or much lower than the factory was set at the factory, then the faster your suspension is going to wear out, which means the suspension of your car is going to wear out much faster. And the higher you lift the car, or the lower you lower your vehicle with the lowering kit, the faster it's going to wear out. That's just the physics, because you're changing the angles and camber and toe of your vehicle. So it's just the physics, the way the weight is pushing on your parts, on your suspension parts. So that's what happens. Just keeping in mind that if you lift the vehicle too high, besides suspension getting worn out faster, you're also having a lot more risk of rolling the vehicle over, because your car is going to have more body roll. Your gas mileage goes down, and it's easier to flip the vehicle at extreme speeds, or if you're going too fast and you're racing or going around turns and corners and stuff like that. So your vehicle sits high off the road, and it has more chances of flipping over. The gas mileage goes down, and the suspension parts wear out faster. On the plus side, you have a lot more clearance on the road, so you could go over speed bumps and just off-road, like in snow, mud. So you have a huge advantage in that you have more road clearance, like if you like going off-roading. Just keeping in mind that Subaru is it's like a semi off-road vehicle. It's a more like a rally car. So it's not really made like a Jeep or those 4x4 SUVs, but they are made like a rally car. Except together to be a rally car, you would need to do a lot more modifications. You have to lift it and reinforce suspension, put skid plates, and a whole bunch of different things. You could research it online if you want. But so pretty much what I'm trying to say is a Subaru is not really made to go 100% off-road. It's something in between. It's a rally car, if you of course modified into a rally car. So the lift kit kind of gives you more ability to go off-road, but that doesn't mean that if you're going off-road too fast on really rough roads, like rocks or whatever, your suspension is going to fall apart. So it's don't think you're gonna lift your vehicle and just be able to do a rally racing. There's a lot of modifications that goes into rally racing and going off-road that people do. I'm sure you've seen those like rock climbers, like those Jeeps and Cherokee and like those SUVs. They're 4x4. So Subaru is not like that. It's I would say like halfway there, but it would require a lot more modifications than just lifting a car. So if you're lifting a car to do some serious off-road, you might want to reinforce and do some more modifications and research what you actually have to do, because otherwise you're going to mess up your Subaru. So But lift kit, the reason why I got it for is because there's a lot of speed bumps, and just when you're crossing like intersections going downhill, there's these indentations, and if you're going too fast, you could bottom out. Also, I noticed there's a lot of driveways and houses that sit on the slope that goes kind of really steep slope that goes up, and you end up scraping the bottom of your car, so you have to go like sideways or on the angle to get up to this driveway at some houses. So I thought that if I have a 1 inch clearance higher, then I'm not gonna scrape my exhaust and like my oil pan and just the bottom of my car. I'm gonna have more clearance. That's all. So keeping in mind that you know you don't want to go too low or too high. So I would not recommend going anything more than like 1.5 inches or nothing over 2 inches higher than your factory version, because when my friend did on his new Crosstrek, he did 1.5 inches lift kit. His suspension was way off, and you could see like his wheels actually caved in a little bit. You could even see it. So it took him a while to adjust his alignment. It was a long time that they had a hard time adjusting his alignment. So I only did 1.5. I'm sorry, I did 1 inch lift kit. He did 1.5, and mine was much easier to adjust than his because it was only 1 inch. So 1 inch is not that far off from the factory version. So just keep that in mind. I would not recommend going more than 2 inches on any car, and I would probably recommend going like 1.5 inches at the most. So far we didn't notice any like problems with the handling or body roll on the car. My friend said he doesn't notice any difference so far. I definitely did not notice any difference in my car with the 1 inch lift kit, because it's only 1 inch from the factory stats, which is great. That's why I got the kit. And what I like about it is that it's a 1.3 in the back. So the back is raised 3/8 of inches higher, because as you know, the 2015 to 2021 Subaru Wrx and STI, the back is kind of saggy. For some reason it sags in the suspension. So this kit from ADF, I think it's Anderson Design Fabrications, that's what it's called. It's a really good company for Subarus. They pretty much make everything. That kit fixed the problem where the rear is sagging. So like I have more visibility now, pretty much. Because my hood is kind of slanted a little bit more down by 3/8 of an inch. Just a little more. I like the way it sits kind of lower in the front, kind of like a racing car. So yeah, keep in mind also, going back now to if you lower the car too low, with the lowering kit, which a lot of people love doing, your suspension will improve. The handling improves. Your handling is going to be really awesome. You're not going to feel any body roll pretty much, but you are going to have very little road clearance, and that means you will not be able to make it over some speed bumps, which means I knew a lot of guys who ripped off their pieces of their exhaust systems. They bottomed out on their oil pans. You could do a lot of different damage. Depends how fast you go. So you want to have enough road clearance, on your car, no matter what kind of car you drive. You just don't want to go too high or too low, pretty much. That's my point. So also, if you do a lift kit and you're lifting the car, you could actually put much thicker tires. So what you could do is even on the factory height of any car, you could still do 1+ size tire, which means you could increase it by 1 inch. So for example, like the Subaru Wrx comes with 235, 45, 17, and it also could come with the 18-inch rims. That's the factory stat, right? So I went with the 255, 45, 17. So I increased it by 20. So what that means is the radius the whole radius of my tire increased by 20 millimeters. It's a formula. So the formula increased by 20 millimeters. So that means that the tire got 1 inch. So the tire is now wider and higher by 1 inch. That's what it kind of means. So which gave me more cushion for the road. So it protects your wheels from the road if you don't want to warp your wheels or crack them on potholes. You want to have the thicker tire that you can possibly get. And also, when I lifted the vehicle, I can technically now go from 255/45. I could go to 255/50. So I could also increase it by 5 more millimeters. The only problem that I found with this is that there's only like 3 companies in the whole world that make 255/55. I'm sorry, 255/50. So I'm trying to go 5 more than from 45 to 50, and there's only 3 companies that make them. Like I think it's a Hankook and some other off-brand. But I'm not going to do that because those brands, they're not good all-season tires. A lot of reports and reviews are saying that they're sliding in the winter, in the snow, and even in the rain. So I'm not going to sacrifice my safety for having a smoother ride because that's, I'd rather be safe. So that's the problem. Because I went with a wider wheel, because a factory Subaru Wrx comes with a 17/8, and I decided to go a little wider for better handling. I went with 255/45, which is it's a 17-inch rim, 17/8.5. So it's half an inch wider than the factory rim, and because of that, I have to have a wider tire. So I had to go from 245 tire to 255 because of that. So because of that, yes, I got better handling, but now I'm having a hard time finding a tire that's wide enough and thick enough to fit the rim. So pretty much in my case, like I said, there's only 2 or 3 brands that make 255/50 tire, which is bad because I can't really, even though I have a lift kit, I have room to increase my tire. I cannot because there's almost no companies who manufactured such a tire for that width. So that's the problem. Now, if I would have lifted my car 2 inches, then I could have probably went like 255/60. So then I would have had probably more choices because it's a bigger tire. So it might have been like a maybe probably be like a truck tire size. So that's the problem. I would do your research and find out the size of the tire you can fit with your lift kit, and then once you find out what's the biggest size tire size you could fit on your car with your lift kit of your choice, go and research and see what tires you could actually buy, what tires are available. Because with a lot of these lift kits and lowering kits, that kind of lowers your choices on what kind of tires you could buy. Because a lot of these sizes become what's called odd size. It's not a normal size that they make. So you're going to have a hard time finding the tire size for your lowering kit or for your lift kit. So that's what I recommend doing, is researching the height of your lowering kit or your lift kit, and then researching what's the tire size that you could actually go install on there, and then decide for yourself what tire size you want for your style of driving. And then once you find out what the tire size you want, Google on the internet or just research to see what tires come up, what size tires come up, because you're gonna have odd size tires. That's what happened to a lot of people. So, and I hope this video helps everyone, and I hope everyone stays safe. Thank you for watching, and take care.